Yes, students, good morning. Welcome to our video lecture. Today, we are going to complete all the sums of tabulation. So, section E, I am doing sum number 10. Students, section E, we are doing sum number 10. Now, the sum is given as a table, students. We have already given a table, and students, based on that table, we have to answer, students, the questions which are given. Okay, students, the following table represents the number of workers of a factory according to their gender, residence, and year. We have to answer the questions. Okay. What is the first question? What is the percentage increase in total number of workers during the period of 5 years? If you see the last section, total and its total, in the year 2010, total we had 2000 workers, and in the year 2015, total we had 3000 workers. So what should I write? Increase in total workers is equal to 3000 minus 2000, and that is 1000. Now, workers in 2010 we take as 100%. Total and percentage. Original workers are always taken as 100%. So 1000 workers is how much? So it will be 1000 and 200 divided by 2000. 1000 ones are 1000 twos are, so the answer is 50%. So percentage increase in workers. Percentage increase in workers is equal to 50%. This is the one. First answer, so I am writing answer 1. Students, this is our first answer. Now, answer 2. What is the second question? What is the percentage decline in number of non-local workers? See the total of non-local workers in 2010 it was 500. So decline in non-local workers is equal to 500 minus 400, and students, that is equal to 100. Now, percentage, again, initial 500 is taken as 100%. So, 100 worker is how much percent? So, it will be 100 into 100 divided by 500, 100 5s are, so the answer is 20%. So, percentage decline in non-local workers is equal to 20%. Now, students, answer 3. What is the next question? Let us read the question perfectly. Find the percentage decrease in number of men and women. Okay. How many total men were there in 2010? 1500. Increase in number of men is equal to 2300 minus 1500, which is 800. So again, find percentage. 1500 is 100%. So 800 is how much? So it will be 800 into 100 divided by 1500 800 divided by 15, so it is 53.33%. And same way for women also you can find 500 and 700, so it is 700 minus 500, 200. And just showing here it will be 500, sorry 700 minus 500, so 200. 500 is 100%, 200 is how much? It will be 40%. That much students I am leaving for you to complete on your own. That much all of you can do, students. Number of women in 10 were 500, number of women in 50 were 700, increase in number of women is 200. So 500 is 100%, so 200 will be 40%. You can that much easily, students, calculate. Here, the original number of workers in 2010 will be always considered as 100%. Now, this completes almost our section E, students, except the last two sums, question 11 and 12, students. These two sums are basically of graph. Question 11 and 12, students, these two questions are basically of graph. Now, we have a sum of tabulation in section F, and that is sum number 5, students. That's why we are doing. We have a sum of tabulation, students, in section F. Section F, students, a sum of tabulation. Section F, sum number 5. Now, here, students, analysis is bit long and complicated. So I wish that all of you must understand this very, very perfectly. The students of a university were classified according to faculty and gender. 60% of total 40,000 students were boys. So, if I start with analysis of the data, total students were 40,000, and these are divided into girls and boys. Bit lengthy. Okay, I am showing here. How many percent were boys? 60% of the total 40,000 students were boys. So 60% of 40,000 will be 24,000. This much all of you can easily understand. 6 4s are 24. So this were boys. So girls would be 40%, which is 16,000. Thus much all of you can very easily understand. Number of girls in engineering faculty was 3 times the number of girls in commerce faculty. So I start with engineering faculty, and the next immediate faculty is, say, commerce. Each faculty is divided into boys, girls. Each faculty is divided, students, into boys and girls. Refer this very perfectly, students. Each faculty is divided into boys and girls. The number of girls in engineering faculty was 3 times the number of girls in commerce faculty. Suppose there are X number of girls in commerce faculty, then in engineering we will have 3x number of girls. This is crystal clear. Then 15% and 10% of the total students of university were boys and girls who belong to medical faculty. So the third faculty is medical. And here number of boys and girls are clearly given. What is given, students? Really 15% were boys and girls of total. Okay. Once again we emphasize on this 15% and 10% of total number of university students were boys and girls who belong to medical faculty. 15 fours are 60. So 6,000 boys. And 10% of 40,000 is 4,000 girls. Total number of medical students were 10,000. So this is completely capped. 20% of the total number of students in university belong to faculty of science. 20%. The fourth faculty is faculty of science. 20% of total is 8,000. And again, this is divided into boys and girls. And among this, the number of girls were 1/7 the number of boys. So if boys are y, girls are y by 7. So y plus y by 7 is equal to 8,000. Take LCM. 7y plus y, 8y by 7 is equal to 8,000. So y will be 7,000. 8,000 divided by 8 will be 1,000 into 7, 7,000. So boys are 7,000. So girls will be 1,000. 8,000 minus 7,000. So science faculty is also done. Then 7% and 17% of total number of students of arts faculty were boys and girls. So the last faculty is arts. Boys and girls 7%. 4 sevens are 28. So 2,800. And 17%, 17 fours are 68. So 6,800 girls. And total will be 9,600. Okay, so 3 faculties are totally done in analysis, and those 3 faculties are students medical, science and arts. Now, 3.75% of the total number of university students belong to commerce faculty. Students, 3.75% of the total students belong to, you can say, commerce faculty. So 3.75 upon 100 into 40,000. So these two zeros and zeros gets cancelled. So it is 375 into 4, and that comes out to 1,500 students. So total number of students in commerce were now easily judged. And the proportion of boys and girls was 3:7. Okay. Boys and girls proportion. Ratio of boys and girls was 3:7. So boys will be 3 by 10 into 1,500. 0 and 0 gets cancelled. 15 3s are 45. So 450 were boys. 1,500 minus 450. So 1050 were girls. So multiply this by 3. So 3150 were girls in the engineering faculty. Now we have to find boys of engineering faculty which is not given. There are two ways. Add all the boys and subtract from 24,000. We get that also. Students, total number of boys, you can say at 24,000 minus, if I subtract, this is 7750. 7750. How I have obtained, students? It is like this. From 24,000, subtract 2,800, 7,000, 6,000 and 450. You get boys. So if I add, it will be 10,900. Where the number of students in engineering faculty. So this analysis is bit lengthy, not at all difficult, students. Once you try to understand the basics, I don't think students you should face any problem in understanding this. Now, the table is very simple. Table showing classification of students of a university according to gender and faculty or faculty and gender, right? Table is very simple. The complicated part was analysis. So, the first column I make is faculty, then gender, boys, girls and total. The first faculty is engineering, second is commerce, third is medical, fourth is science and fifth is arts. And then we go for totals. Okay, engineering, how many boys and girls were there? Students, let us check. Number of boys in engineering were 7750. Girls were 3150. Total were 10,900. Commerce, boys were 450. Girls were 1050. Total students are 1500. Medical, boys were 6,000, girls were 4,000, total were 10,000. Science, boys were 7,000, girls were 1,000, total is 8,000. Arts, boys were 2,800, girls were 6,800. Total students were 9,600. Total boys are 24,000. Girls are 16,000. And total is only 40,000 students. So, this indirectly completes our tabulation. Students, we are done with the concept of tabulation. After a long time we check, we have completed tabulation. So students, this was comparatively easy. The only lengthy part was analysis. Otherwise, this table is not so complicated. So I request you to go through the tabulation sums very perfectly, students. Now, let us check if we have any MCQs in section A regarding tabulation. Then students we will complete that. Section A. Students, how many MCQs we have done, I don't exactly remember. But I think students, first two MCQs we have done. Now, which of the third? Name the method of classification of raw data related to daily demand of a product. Now, pay attention, students. Name the method of classification of raw data related to daily demand of a product. Demand is always in terms of number. So the answer is classification of numeric data, because demand is always in number of units. Say the demand of a product is 20 units, 40 units, 100 units, like that. So in third MCQ, students, the correct answer is option B. It is classification of numeric data. Fourth, name the type of classification of data related to the occupation and education of a person living in a certain region. So we did some classification of workers according to the living area, and you can say qualifications. So it is tabulation. When we are classifying workers based on attributes, qualities which they possess, it is tabulation. So I think question 1, 2, 3, 4. So in fourth sum, the correct option is A, is tabulation. Fifth, we have done 6, we have done 7, we have done 8, 9, 10 also students we have done. Now, pay attention, the remaining MCQs from 11th we will not be able to do at present, because that is based on diagram. Now section B, define discrete variable, define continuous classification, type of classification, we have done frequency, we have done state the method to determine number of classes on the basis of range and data. Why should one form of frequency distribution, that also different. Write the formula for finding bit value of a class. Now students, pay attention. Section B, I think we have not done from sum 12. Section B, students, we have not done from question 12. So what is tabulation? Tabulation is a process of systematically arranging raw data in the form of rows and columns based on the characteristics of the data. Students, tabulation we have already defined and explained you also. So that is, you can say, tabulation. What is tabulation? Classification of qualitative data is done to represent qualitative data to short and attractive form, which is also called tabulation. So tabulation is nothing but systematic representation of a data in the form of rows and columns based on that characteristics. Define manifold classification. Classification based on two or more attributes is called manifold classification. And classification or table prepared on the basis of a single attribute is called simple classification. That also students we have done. Now question 14. What is the characteristics of best table to represent qualitative data? The characteristics of the best table to represent qualitative data is the table that satisfies the objective of classification. Students, pay attention. What is the characteristics of the best table to represent qualitative data? Or what type of table is the best type of table, students? The table which satisfies the objective of classification. The table which satisfies the objective of classification is the best table to represent qualitative data. Then students, what is the main disadvantage of classification of the data? Students, main disadvantage of classification of the data Now, what is main disadvantage of classification of data source? In classification, the data is represented either in the form of a frequency distribution or in the form of a table. So the original characteristics of the data is lost when we represent the data in the form of a frequency distribution, students, or in the form of a table. So students, the remaining questions are again related to diagram that we haven't done. Now students, pay attention. We are doing two simple theories given on page number 39 and page number 40. On page number 39, students, we have types of tabulation and its uses. Students, pay attention. I am reading and explaining so that you can easily understand this. Table represents the extensive data in simple, organized and precise manner. Of course, yes, that big paragraph which is given in words is simply represented in a concise form with the help of table. So tabulation represents the data in simple, concise and precise form. Time, money and labor required for the study of data under consideration is saved as unnecessary information is removed from the data. Just now we did a sum where we studied a table. So we can very easily interpret a table. Hence time, money and labor is saved with the help of tabulation. In tabulation, various characteristics of the data which are to be compared are placed side by side. Total of men, total of women. So easily we can compare. You can say hence comparison, conclusion and observation becomes very easy. Row wise and column wise total are found in table. So if there are any error due to oversight, it can be easily detected and rectified. Horizontal totals are row wise totals. Then we do vertical totals which are column wise totals. So row wise and column wise totals are facilitated in table and hence comparison means easily we can check if there is an error. We can compare the totals. Final totals must turn out to be same. Analysis of the data becomes simple and convenient if the data is represented in tabular form. Especially these tables are very useful for multinational companies and business organizations and corporate offices to evaluate their performance in respect to present and compare with past. So this is easy, students, you can write as given in textbook. Now we are checking guiding rules of tabulation. All of you know how a table is prepared. The first appropriate title should be given to a table. Now before table, if I would have explained this, it is difficult. After table, students, you can easily understand. So appropriate title must be given to every table. We are giving a title. There should be clear and simple captions to the rows and columns. Captions of rows and columns means heading of respective rows and columns should be simple. If the figures are too large, we represent them in 100,000, lakhs or crores. You read the tables given in books 15, but unit would be in crores. Now after crore there are lots of zeros, so we write simply 50. The interrelated information shown should be adjacent to each other in such a way that analysis can be done in simple and conclusion can be easily drawn. Relevant information must be placed side by side, say men and women, so we can easily compare how many men and how many women were there. In order to distinguish between main characteristics of the data in the table, it should be separated by lines. Of course, we are separating by lines. Married, man and woman. Unmarried, man and woman. There should be a provision for indicating totals of primary and subsidiary characteristics. Say, married, man, women and total will be. Unmarried, man, women and total. So you can say totals are there. Sources of data must be mentioned at the end of the table. Sometimes we refer the data from a particular book, particular article, particular magazine. That source must be clearly mentioned. Before preparing the final table, a rough table should be prepared, which is called analysis of the data. We are always doing, students, analysis of the data. It is better to represent as much as possible data in a single table, but if the data is too large, extensive, multiple tables, more than one tables can be prepared so that you can easily compare the various characteristics of the data. See, different persons can prepare different tables, but the table which satisfies the objective of classification is called the best table. So that answer we did just now, students, in section B, question 14. What is the characteristics of the best table to represent qualitative data? Different persons can prepare different tables, but the table which satisfies the objective of classification is called the best possible table. So here, students, in guiding rules you are to write in your own words, but after preparing table only you can decide this. So I put this theory afterwards. Now, students, we are almost completing all the basic theories of tabulation. We have completed all the basic theories of tabulation, MCQs, VSQs, all the questions from section C, D, E, F. And now you should be very well versed, students, with the basics of tabulation. So this guiding rules also you have to write, students. Uses of tabulation also you have to write. Now from the next lecture we are going to do the last topic of the chapter, that is diagrams. So you will enjoy this topic as this is a topic based on graph. Okay, students, so here we are done with the tabulation. Remaining concepts, remaining topic, the diagrams, we will take from the next lecture. Thank you, students.